Okay. Well, today we have Yogi Trish. That's what everyone calls you, right? That's sort of your name. What?
Yeah, that's what I put on all my various, what would you call it? Like
Your
online presence. My online presence is Yogi Trish. Otherwise, I'm just Trish.
But today I have one of my favorite people with me, Trish O'Gorman, also known as Yogi Trish. And it's a really special day. And you don't even know, you haven't figured this out, Trish, but today is April 8th. My birthday is April 6th and your birthday is April 10th. So that means we're like the in-between birthday, right? How about
Perfect.
that? Perfect. Perfect. But today I want all of you to get to know Trish a little bit better. We're going to keep it pretty short, and Trish has a retreat at the end of this month. We want to talk about that, and also her Kundalini yoga business, and a little bit more about who Trish is. So as you always say in your classes, let's just jump in and I want people to know a little bit of your background, like how you discovered Kundalini yoga and what it does for you.
Well, I really didn't discover it. I didn't even set out to look for it or find it. I had no intention of doing yoga, practicing yoga. I had no relationship with yoga. And I was brought along to a class out of curiosity.
Dragged to the class, or was it like, yeah, I'll just go, whatever?
It was kind of like, all right, I better go. It was kind of felt like the right thing to do, to show up and just see what this was. And I thought, okay. And I went with full on negative mind, cynical as could be.
Right.
But I'm also one of those people who's very kind of, I'm a pleaser, right? So I kind of do as I'm told, because I was raised to do as I'm told. So when I sat in that Kundalini class, I just did as I was told, which is one of the things I love about Kundalini. You just show up, do what you're told, and poof. So it doesn't matter what you're thinking. It doesn't matter what you believe. You just do what you're told in the class, and you have this experience. And that's what happened to me that very first class. I showed up, and it was weird. I'm sitting there going, first of all, we had to chant. And I thought, oh God, that felt so weird. I felt it inside of me. It was like,
you're like,
uncomfortable feeling.
Am I back in Ireland in church?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. And it was like, actually, it was more like, oh, am I stepping over to the dark side? What is this? And then she goes, gaze upwards and inwards to your third eye. I was like, well, this is totally weird. Okay. But I'm gazing up there, and we're doing it, all the practice and the breathing and then all of a sudden I'm like, this third eye just starts, there's these colors and these sensations. And I was like, whoa, what is there? What's in there?
Right.
And then at the end, I just felt amazing. And I haven't been able to stop. Ever since, So I always say that it found me. And even the way I became a teacher was by accident.
Right. And the dog likes to chat too.
Yeah.
And no, it definitely found you. And then, I found you, I think 15 years ago. You were one of my first teachers, and it did something similar to me. And I always feel grounded and so elevated at the end of every single class. And every single class does something different for me and for everyone who's there, right?
Absolutely. And you can go in thinking I have shown up in class thinking, oh, I need a gentle class tonight. I hope it's gentle. And it turns out to be the complete opposite of gentle. And it's exactly what you need. And as a teacher, that, in the early days, I would be concerned about, teaching a good class and pleasing the students and making it work for them and but then I realized I that's totally out of my control. And that's not something I should even be thinking about, because everybody needs something different. Yeah. So I very quickly realized that my job is to teach the teachings as they are to the best of my ability. And that when I showed up and started doing that, that's when people really started to resonate with the class. That's when I started to get the feedback, like, that's exactly what I needed. You said this and it resonated so deeply with me. And though there was no thought on my part of what I was going to say, or I had no plan, I hadn't planned anything. And those were the moments that I really began to realize there's more to this than meets the eye. There's more to me as the teacher than me as Trish.
Right.
And it took me a long time. I was very uncomfortable with it. I'm not that type of person.
It and the truth of you come together, and when that happened and it comes out of you, it's amazing. Really. As a student of yours, it's amazing.
Thank you. I can't even say I'm doing it. I just, what it takes from me is a willingness to say what comes. And often I'm like, I can't say that. But then I relax and I breathe and I just say, and it then builds. There's this momentum that comes. It's hard to describe, but it's beautiful. And I learn from it too, as we go through, So that's the magic.
Whatever class you're teaching is usually something that you need to, right?
Always. I say that, don't I? I say, I teach what I need, and I don't even always get to do it because I'm teaching it, but I still benefit.
Right.
I think true power.
Or attract people that are going to teach us, both. It goes both ways.
Absolutely.
But I just want to say one more thing about Kundalini yoga. There was someone in your class or in one of the classes I took with you that used to say, this is like, was it like going to the gym, going to church, and going to a therapist or something like that? Yeah. What is the combo?
That's exactly it. She used to say, she said at the end of a class, she goes, wow, it's like getting, the church, gym, and your therapy session all in one hour. Like you're done. You don't have to go anywhere else. Exactly. It's true. It has all those. It does. Well, that's what yoga though is, right? It's yoking together mind, body, and soul. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what those three are: body, the spirit, and the mind. And that's what yoga is.
That triple combo of things. It is so much that. So where can we can find you online for your classes? I want to talk about the retreat, but tell everyone how they can find you so that they can take one of your amazing classes. And I think soon we'll be opening up. Are you going to teach in the park? And there's going to be a little bit more outside soon. But
yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping to go back outside. But right now I'm teaching twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursday evenings at Bhakti Barn in Melbourne. That's bhaktibarn.com. And it's a Zoom class. Mm-hmm. And I teach Saturday mornings at Shakti. Shakti is the studio in Maplewood, again on Zoom. And I have my own class, it's not a private class, it's a Zoom class that's open to anybody, but I host it. And it's a donation-based class on Sunday mornings at 9. And that's a really great class. The best way the best way to find that class is either through clicking into my Instagram account, or you can find me on Facebook. I put all the links up there all the time. And
Mind Body.
I also say again?
Mind Body.
No, I don't have my private
not your
class
private,
on Sundays on Mind Body, but the others are all through the yoga studio websites. Yeah. Okay. And I also have a YouTube channel, which I don't really get paid for that, but I know a lot of people are like taking those classes, and I think there's one or two that have had like several hundred hits, downloads or watches, whatever it is.
No, there's some good ones on there, and I've definitely gone to them when I need a class. So
great.
You have a retreat that's coming up from April 30th to May 2nd. Mm-hmm. So, and I really this is my third retreat at this place. I'm so excited because I'm going to break free. I've been with my 91-year-old mother, for over a year, and get away and be with like-minded people. But can you tell everyone about the retreat a little bit more? And I'm just going to jump in if I have like something to say about it, since I've gone 3 times and I've had such an amazing experience.
Yeah. Well, the retreats are such a beautiful experience for me too. It's the location, first of all, is fabulous. It's remote, but it's not that far away, which is kind of the best of both worlds. We are the only people at the center, so there's no other program going on at the same time. The accommodation, the whole place is very new and very modern, and there's a lot of outdoor space as well that we utilize. And the great hall where we practice yoga, we've got this giant Buddha, and it's just very beautiful. and it's very sacred, and you can feel that energy is already there. So
sure.
when we slide in there with this practice that is so spiritual and so devotional, really, and it is devotional. It's devotional not in a very active way, not in a passive devotional way. I feel like it's an active devotional practice, and the when you're there for a prolonged length of time, like this is my third or fourth retreat up there, right? Because I'm doing every fall now. It's going to become a standard, and now I'm adding the spring. But when we arrive on Friday, you know, everybody's energy, they're coming from all their different, like you said, you're coming from your mother, and somebody else is coming from their family, and some a job, and stress, pandemic world, and everybody brings that in. It's inevitable. You bring it with you, and everybody's kind of like this, right? Right, we're like this, like, oh my God, you know.
Breathing up here.
And yeah, we're breathing up here, and everybody's like barely talking to each other. They're all being like, hi, I don't want to talk to anybody, you know. And then something shifts as we practice our together in that first evening, and then we wake up before dawn the next morning to do our sadhana together, and the whole thing gains this momentum. And by the end of the weekend, it's just a big ball of love, you know, and it's so genuine and authentic, and people feel safe. And it's not even like you need to divulge or have talk therapy or anything like that. It's very much energetic shifts, energetic connections, feelings of just, you know, like that oneness that we're always talking about. You actually experience it because it's not about thinking about it, intellectualizing, talking, even describing, narrating. None of that matters. That's all mental busyness. But when you truly experience these shifts in energy and these connections, that's the transformation. And that happens in these weekends. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
for all of us.
You feel like this one big group hug and so much love when you leave. And
yes.
I remember not wanting to leave. It's just an incredible experience. This is what you say about join us on the mountaintop, move, breathe, relax, eat a simple diet, and learn about Ayurveda. Bring your loved ones, private, clean, safe, heaven.
It is.
The place is gorgeous. There's really simple rooms, but there's just so nice. And these very clean bathrooms you share with maybe one other person at most. And the center, as you said, is this huge room, and we're spaced out enough that everyone will feel safe, and this massive Buddha. And then the food, the best food and lots of options for people with different, you know, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, if you know, all that stuff. So it's just, all of it is amazing. And then we do this great hike on Saturday afternoon too. So we get outside and move and talk even more with everyone.
Yeah, and I have added in an added element for this particular retreat, and that Anna, who owns Shakti, is going to join me, and she's going to delve into some Ayurveda, which is it's kind of like traditional Indian medicine as opposed to traditional Chinese medicine, and it involves, you know, how your diet should shift as you move with the seasons. You know, we go from kapha, which is winter, where it's all about root vegetables and being high, like warm and nourishing and kind of a bit inward, right? So suddenly we have to erupt, like plants erupt from the earth. We have to pop up and erupt and be outward, and that's shifting our diet. It kind of happens naturally, and you should allow it to happen naturally. But you want to become lighter, less dense, more fiery, more pitta, you know. So it's really interesting stuff, and I love how it ties in. And Kundalini is very, very full of pitta and fire and moving energy and or awakening. So
and there's 3 different doshas, and everyone has either one or a combination of them, and she will explain like what the ideal way of eat, or most optimal way, I guess would be a more appropriate word, to eat for, you know, balance and energy and, you know, just better all around health.
Yeah, and very specific to you and your individual constitution, really, is what it's called, the doshas. And we'll try to tie the Kundalini and different meditations in, or particularly breath work, depending on, you know, what your dosha is and what you need.
Yeah, and I think you know, one of the big words is cleanse, but I think we need to, been so much grief in the last year, and I think it will be so great to really release some of that grief. Like Kundalini really helps in releasing all the grief, and then there's different forms of grief that we've been through, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's the ultimate loss that so many people have suffered, death and illness.
Yeah.
But then there's these little losses that we've all suffered: loss of freedom, loss of movement, loss of travel, maybe just little, loss of our jobs or going into our offices. There's so many small little things that have shifted that can create sadness and loss. And a lot of it too is, I feel, instead of cleanse, I like the word that came to my mind as you said the word cleanse. It's like to cleanse something. It's to let go, it's to release things, to let go of the stress and the pain of that, and maybe be open to what's the new that's coming, because there's no going back. We've been put into a position where we have to move into a new reality and
no new normal. What is that?
There's no normal. There's no normal.
Right.
No normal.
We need a new word. If someone comes up with a new word for new normal, please tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And the Kundalini teachings that I learned, and you learned in training, was about preparing for these times. They call this the Aquarian age. We were told, I was told this back in, when did I do the trainings? Early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, what are they talking about? They said, oh, there'll be great turmoil on the planet.
Like, really?
And people will really suffer. And I was like, and they won't, and you need to be able to cope with the suffering. And that's the tools of Kundalini Yoga, are to cope with difficult times and challenging times. And, this isn't going to abruptly end, because we also have to think about the planet and climate change. And there's so much happening. There's so much happening that has to almost come down to be rebuilt, right? We can't patch things, fix things anymore. We need to have a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
So our new reality is more God conscious as opposed to money conscious, maybe, or more like, it's a shift and it has to happen.
About serving and compassion and
about being of service. Yeah. Not what can I get? It's like, how can I help? What's my role? What am I meant to do? Because we all have that. And that's where we find happiness.
Want me to help? Like, how do you want to use my gifts to help serve, kind of?
It's the greatest prayer of all. It's the greatest prayer of all. Show me what I'm meant to do. Right. Use me, take me and use me. Yeah.
And I do think this yoga for me, and I know for you, like, and we talk about these times, the Aquarian age and all that, but these have gotten both of us and so many people that practice this yoga through crazy times where it just lifts us up and gets us through. It's really
absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So there are some spots left, but it's filling up. And where can they go on to? They can go on to your Facebook page to find more information, or what's the best way?
And actually, I also have, I should have mentioned it. I have a website. I have my own website.
I went on your website today. I saw it. So
yeah, it's Yogi Trish, yogitrish.com. Very simple. And there's links on the website to the center. It's called the Dharmakaya Center for Wellness.
Yeah.
And you can click on the links and register right on the Dharmakaya site. That's the best place to register for the whole thing. And it is, thankfully, it is filling up. We have maybe 5 spots left, I think.
5 spots left.
So I'm not sure. I haven't looked today, but yeah. So hopefully it'll be, we don't want to overfill, and we want to make it's just wonderful. And the best thing is, you don't have to have any experience of Kundalini yoga at all. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to be flexible. You don't have to be, a yogi of any kind.
Fill in the blank, Trish. Just come with an open mind.
That's right. And an open heart.
And an open heart, and just have an experience, no judgment. And that's how you teach. And that's how this practice is. And you just let it unfold. So.
Yeah, because there's no levels in Kundalini yoga. There's no degrees. There's no, I'm a master of this, I'm an expert, I'm an intermediate, none of that applies to Kundalini yoga, because it's all about you and you. If you're a master Kundalini, that means you have mastered you, your blueprint, your who you are and your role in the world. So no one else can do that, right? So it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing.
Yeah. And
so
practicing together is so much more powerful too.
Amazing.
I love that. I can't wait to practice and chant and be with everyone else, with all these incredible people that you always attract to, and you and Anna are going to attract to this retreat. So is there anything else you want to share with us, or do you think we should wrap it up?
I think that's it. Just come join me, have an experience, or find a class.
Find a class and check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Just check it out for yourself. You never know.
Thank you, Trish. Sat Nam.
Sat Nam. I can't wait. Thank you.
All right.